Look, it drives me absolutely crazy when I see this. People are out there throwing money at the stock market, basically treating it like a Vegas slot machine, just crossing their fingers for a jackpot. But at the exact same time, they're sitting on toxic credit card debt that's hitting them with 22% interest. It's right there, just silently draining their wealth. It's literally like trying to fill a bucket that has massive holes in the bottom, and then wondering, hey, why isn't this filling up? Well, in this explainer, we're going to fix those holes. We're going to stop the chaos and look at the actual mathematical sequence for building wealth.
But before we map out the solution, you've got to hear this staggering fact. According to recent data, 1 in 3 Americans doesn't even have an emergency fund. Nothing. And for those who actually do, the median amount saved up is a whopping $500. I mean, think about that for a second. That's less than a monthly car payment for most people. And what's even crazier? That number is actually down from $600 just last year. Yet these are the exact same folks agonizing over whether they should be picking individual stocks or dumping cash into the next crypto wave.
Okay, let's dive into this. To quote the source material, it's exactly like asking whether you should buy a Ferrari when you don't even have enough money to fix the transmission in your current car. You just can't buy the Ferrari of investments if your day-to-day transmission is completely shot. There is an optimal, proven order to investing your money, and following it can literally save you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime and dramatically accelerate your path to financial independence. Here's the exact blueprint we are walking through today. Number 1, laying the financial foundation. 2, tackling free money and toxic debt. 3, entering the tax optimization zone. 4, unlocking the HSA secret weapon. And finally, 5, the final investing frontier. All right, Section 1, laying the financial foundation, building the psychological safety net. We're starting right at the ground floor here. Before you invest a single dollar anywhere else, you need an emergency fund. And yeah, I know, it sounds incredibly boring, but an emergency fund isn't just about the math. It is a psychological safety net. It's the thing that stops you from making terrible, panicked financial decisions when life inevitably throws a curveball at you. When your car breaks down, you won't be forced to sell your investments at the absolute worst time or rack up high-interest debt just to keep your head above water. Now, the traditional advice of save 3 to 6 months of expenses is so broad that it usually just overwhelms people into doing absolutely nothing. So we're going to break this down into 3 highly manageable chunks. Step 1, save your first $1,000 as quickly as humanly possible. Just get it done. Step 2, build that up to 1 full month of living expenses. And step 3, push that out to 3 months. By breaking it down this way, you turn a terrifying mountain into a simple staircase. And if you need a little motivation to hit that first major milestone, check out this fascinating research from Vanguard. They found that people with at least $2,000 in emergency savings had financial well-being scores 21% higher than those without it. That was the largest boost linked to any single financial factor they looked at. Now, $2,000 isn't necessarily life-changing money on its own, but the psychological impact of just having that buffer, it's massive.
Moving on to Section 2, free money and toxic debt, the ground floor exception. So once your emergency fund is locked in, the next critical step is wiping out high-interest debt. We're talking anything charging over roughly 8% annually. And credit card debt, that is the absolute villain of the story. With average rates sitting over 22%, it is straight-up financial cancer. Trying to invest in the stock market while carrying a credit card balance is literally like trying to run a marathon while wearing a backpack full of rocks.
To drop that heavy backpack, you've got to use the debt avalanche method. Here's how it works. You pay the bare minimums on everything, and then mathematically direct every single extra dollar at the debt with the highest interest rate. Now, the debt snowball method, where you pay the smallest balances first, gives you a nice little psychological high five, sure, but the avalanche method is strictly better mathematically. It stops the bleeding. Every dollar you use to pay down a 22% credit card is effectively earning you a guaranteed 22% return.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is, I literally just told you that paying off toxic debt is paramount. But wait, there is actually one major exception. There's one ultimate financial cheat code that comes before wiping out that credit card balance. Do you know what it is? It's an employer match on your retirement contributions. Why? Because an employer match provides a guaranteed 100% return on your investment right out of the gate. Even if you're drowning in credit card debt at 22%, mathematically, snagging a 100% immediate return is the better move. It is literally free money just lying on the ground waiting for you to pick it up. So you contribute just enough to get that maximum match from your boss, and then you immediately pivot all your extra cash right back to destroying that high-interest debt. Now, I do need to briefly mention one small caveat here, which is the vesting schedule. This is just the time frame you have to stay with a company to actually get to keep those matching funds.
So, if you're planning to quit next week, this strategy might not work for you, but generally speaking, even with vesting requirements, leaving free money from your employer on the table is one of the single biggest financial mistakes you can possibly make.
All right, Section 3, the tax optimization zone, building the walls and roof. So we've built the foundation, and now we're putting up the walls and the roof. And this is where most people completely mess things up. They get easily distracted by shiny objects and skip straight into taxable investment accounts. Don't do that. You need to maximize every single tax-advantaged option available to you first so you can shelter your hard-earned wealth from the IRS.
So, after securing that sweet employer match, your next move is to maximize your individual retirement account, your IRA, before you put any additional money into your corporate 401k. Why? Well, corporate 401ks often have a really limited menu of expensive mutual funds. And those management fees, they will eat into your long-term returns like termites in a wooden house. An IRA, on the other hand, gives you total control to invest in low-cost index funds and ETFs, which can literally save you thousands of dollars in fees over a few decades. Now, when you open that IRA, you're going to hit a fork in the road. Traditional versus Roth. Honestly, it just boils down to one simple question. Do you want to pay taxes now, or do you want to pay them later? If you're young and in a lower tax bracket right now, lean heavily toward the Roth IRA. You pay the taxes today at your nice low rate, and then your withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. But if you're a higher earner hitting your peak income years, you probably want to lean toward the traditional IRA, so you can get that tax deduction today, right when your bracket is at its highest.
Section 4. The HSA Secret Weapon, the ultimate financial multi-tool. Listen, if you have access to a health savings account through a high-deductible health plan, you have access to the absolute Swiss Army knife of investing. Hands down, it is the most exciting and underutilized vehicle in America right now.
Why? Because this is the only account in existence that offers a triple tax advantage. You get a tax deduction when the money goes in, the money grows completely tax-free while it's invested, and here is the absolute kicker. When you pull that money out for medical expenses, it is completely tax-free. No taxes on the way in, no taxes during growth, and no taxes on the way out. It is unbelievable.
And to really anchor just how incredibly powerful this is, consider this fact. The average couple retiring today will spend over $300,000 on healthcare throughout their retirement. That's a staggering number. Medical expenses in retirement aren't just a possibility, they are practically a guarantee. So having a massive pile of tax-free HSA money specifically designated to make those huge healthcare costs just disappear from your retirement budget, that is an absolute superpower.
Finally, Section 5, the final investing frontier, the paint and fixtures. Once you have completely maxed out your IRA, your HSA, and then went back and maxed out the rest of your 401k, you finally arrive at taxable investment accounts. Think of this as the paint and fixtures of your financial house. It gives you total flexibility, there are no contribution limits, and no withdrawal restrictions. It's fantastic for bridging the gap if you're trying to retire early or if you're saving up for a massive house down payment.
So the crucial point is, why on earth do we put this flexible account absolutely last in the sequence? Well, it comes down to one major hurdle: tax drag. In a taxable account, every single dividend payment gets taxed. Every time you sell an investment for a gain, the IRS is right there wanting their cut. Investing heavily here before you've maxed out your tax-advantaged accounts is literally like trying to run a foot race while someone keeps shoveling sand into your shoes.
The difference this makes over time is absolutely staggering. Let's say you invest $10,000 annually for 30 years at a 7% return. In a tax-advantaged account, you'd end up with about $944,000. But if you do the exact same thing in a taxable account, paying taxes on those dividends and capital gains along the way, you end up with closer to $700,000. Think about that. That is nearly $250,000 in difference, caused purely by tax drag.
And this brilliantly illustrates our final consolidated blueprint. Let's recap. Step 1, emergency fund. Step 2, employer match. Step 3, high-interest debt. Step 4, max IRA. Step 5, max HSA. Step 6, max 401k. And only then, taxable accounts. If you can actually work your way through this entire sequence, congratulations, you are officially in the top 5% of savers in America. Every single step mathematically builds on the previous one, creating a completely unbreakable financial foundation.
Which leaves us with one final vital question to ask yourself today. Are you building your financial house on a solid foundation, or are you building it on quicksand? It is so incredibly easy to get distracted and chase the next hot stock or the next big crypto wave. But true, lasting wealth is built by executing the boring, highly profitable steps first.
Stop skipping straight to the light fixtures when your concrete foundation is cracked. Fix the foundation, follow the sequence, and I promise you, your future self will thank you.